Today also we're dedicating this ceremony to our friend Stanley Shapiro, who's not with us this year. Stanley, as you know, every year was here. He was a great storyteller, member of the Jewish war vets, and he was our guest speaker every year. Stanley enlisted into the Navy back in 1952, I believe, and he served with honor and dignity. Have his wife Carol here. And Carol, if you wouldn't mind coming up and joining me for a moment. We have this bouquet that was donated to us. We're going to place it. On behalf of everybody here, Mayor and Council, I want to give you this gift here. We're going to place it, you and I, right now over in memory of Stanley. To thank Carol for sharing Stanley with us all those years. He was really a treasure, somebody great to have. Before we get started, a few shout outs. I have with me Council Member, Deputy Mayor John Napolitani, Council Member Robert Chara, Councilwoman Marge Donlin, and Councilman Dave Fisher, former Mayor Dickie English back there, former Councilman Mike Evans, I saw him in here in his uniform, thank you. Chief Sorrentino's back there, and I have our Captain Skank, and I don't know, is Martin here also? Okay, good. Got them all. And of course, our Rifle Guard is here today. They're going to take care of that business for us. So, right now I'd like to introduce the Boy Scouts and the Color Guards. Come on up. We're going to do our salute. Don Bracco, Troop 71.
Thank you, Mayor and Council and veterans. Thank you very much. Before I introduce our Senior Patrol Leader, Will Clark, I'd like to list the names of the Troop 71 members, alumni, that are still serving in the military. Andrew Ayers is in the Navy. Nick Patterson is in the Marine Corps. Josh Patterson, U.S. Marines. Sean Holman, Army, Fort Benning, and he's a West Point grad, our first, which was we're very proud of. Matt Holman, his brother, is in the Navy. He's out to sea somewhere. Tommy Lavin, he's at Fort Hood. And Patrick Brennan, who you may all remember the name Brennan, the past town manager's son, he's in West Point right now in the Army. So let's give a round of applause to those guys. I'd like to now introduce our Senior Patrol Leader, Will Clark.
Rise with the Pledge of Allegiance. Scouts and those in uniform, rise.
Thank you. Well done. Everybody, please be seated. Any World War II veterans out there? If you can't stand, raise your hand. There he is. Mr. Resnick, thank you. Thank you for your service. Another one? There he's standing. All right. Korea? All right. All right. Korea. Vietnam. Afghanistan.
Desert Storm.
Desert Storm, guys. Iraq. Anybody actively in the service right now, just raise your hand. We want to give you a shout out. We thank you all very much for your service. Right now, we have for our national anthem, You're gonna love her. Elizabeth Rusomano. Come on up, Elizabeth.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the hope of the brave.
Great. Thank you, Elizabeth. She just was recently at the Blue Claws game as well. All right, be seated, everybody. Before we get started, every year I like to read in a story, usually from somebody who had served, or for Memorial Day, of course, those who gave the ultimate sacrifice. It's usually a local person. Last year it was Lieutenant Albert Kahn, who was from Asbury Park, and I went to school with his nephew. He perished in World War II. This year we're going to do something again about Alan Sherman, Sergeant Alan Sherman. Every year the Boy Scouts do a memorial for him in the morning, Troop 70. We thank them for that. But it's been a while. It's been 18 years for Alan Sherman since he passed. So I'm going to read something that was in the Star Ledger probably about a week after he was killed in action. 36-year-old reservist from Ocean Township was among 3 Marines killed in Iraq when a roadside bomb ripped through their convoy on Tuesday. Alan Sherman and 2 other reservists, Corporal John Todd III of Bridgeport and Lance Corporal Patrick Albee, 21, of Bel Air, Maryland, were the first Americans killed in combat since the transfer of sovereignty on Monday. This is from 2004 now. Sherman's ex-wife, Dolores, spoke with reporters last night in front of the split-level home in Ocean Township, Monmouth section, where he grew up and he still lived with his parents, Austin and Sarah. Marines arrived at the home Tuesday night to inform the parents of his death. They were still too distraught to talk at the time. The Shermans, Dolores and Alan, married in 1993, met a year earlier, like everybody in New Jersey does, at a 7-Eleven in Point Pleasant, where she was working part-time. They divorced 5 years later, remained great friends, and raised the children together. Dolores lived in Brick with the couple's 2 sons, Joshua and Logan. She said the boys were at the Ocean Township house when the Marines arrived. They knew, she said. They knew when the Marines came to the door. They knew as soon as they walked in what they were there for. She said her ex-husband, who graduated from Ocean Township High School, was a doting father, dedicated soldier, and fulfilled a childhood dream by joining the Marines in 1994. He was a soldier through and through, she said. He was a great dad, a good son, was totally devoted to his children and his family, and he just liked spending time with his boys. They were his world. A neighbor had recalled that the boys were the spitting image of Alan as well. Sherman had done a tour of duty in Kuwait last year and was called back to Iraq in February. When not on duty, he worked in his civilian job as a licensed practical nurse. He didn't really want to leave his children and go to war, but he was a Marine, he was called, he answered the call. He figured, I'm going to do this. He wanted to serve his country, and he left. He left knowing he was doing the right thing, that he wanted to fight for his boys, so one day they wouldn't have to. He totally believed that he was doing, Dolores Sherman said, and that her former husband maintained a good relationship. She said last she spoke to him was a few weeks ago and even received an email from him prior to the explosion. Sherman and others that died on the roadside bomb exploded near the lead vehicle in her convoy, which was traveling along a 4-lane highway in Baghdad. The reservist was a member of Bridge Company B of the 6th Engineer and Support Battalion based in Folsom, Virginia. Sergeant Sherman provided security for the unit. We remember him today. Also, we have from Mrs. Jenny Azeline's 4th grade class at Hillel. This is nice. Every year, her 4th grade class, these kids take time and they write letters to our veterans. And nice letters. I'm going to display these on the table back there, and please take one. If you're a veteran, please take one with you. There's even a little scratch off here with a little special surprise for each person. The kids made a nice job here, so we thank them. Thank you, Hillel. Thank you, Teacher Azeline, for having your 4th graders get involved. Very important. Okay, we have Boy Scouts. Logan Kaplan is here. Come on up, Logan.
Hello, my name is Logan Kaplan. I'm a resident of Ocean Township, a student of Ocean Township High School, and a member of Oakhurst Troop 71. I am humbled and honored to be here today to speak to you all on this incredibly important holiday. And luckily, I have already taken the public speaking merit badge, so I hope that helps. Okay. When my grandfather, Lowell Merrill, was 16 years old, he wanted to join the Marines during the Vietnam War. So he went to the draft office and signed up without telling his parents, of course. He learned there that he needed to have them sign off on him joining, to which his father did not allow him to join the Marines, as they apparently didn't have the greatest reputation back then. So he joined the Navy instead. When my great-grandfather, Morton Scholar, joined the Air Force during World War II, he was a military weather specialist. He would go up in his B-24 bomber ahead of all the other planes and survey if it was safe to fly in. I remember he once described to us how it would get so cold in the air that they had to drink whiskey to keep warm. In fact, I have family members that have been in the military as far back as the Civil War, when my grandfather's great-grandfather fought valiantly on the front lines in the Battle of Gettysburg for the 20th Maine Infantry. I am fortunate to have heard some of the stories of those who came before me and the sacrifices they made so that I could be here to speak to you all today. Unfortunately, as time goes on, people my age will not be able to engage with veterans the way my parents were able to, which is why it is so important to share and remember and honor the people who fought and sometimes died to protect our freedoms. Now I'd like to tell you the story of a man who fought in World War II named Benjamin Zalman, a Jewish dentist who became a medic. He was a surgeon for the 105th Infantry in the Pacific, and his regiment's 1st and 2nd battalions were attacked by an overwhelming force of an estimated between 3,000 and 5,000 Japanese soldiers. It was one of the largest attacks attempted in the Pacific theater during World War II. When he was treating a soldier, 4 Japanese soldiers entered his tent, stabbed one of his patients. So in response, Salomon killed 2, kicked the knife out of the other's hand, and headbutted the last. He then told the wounded soldiers in his tent to fall back, took control of a machine gun outside of his tent, and killed 98 Japanese soldiers in front of him before dying. When they found his body, it had over 70 bullets and 24 stab wounds in it. He later received a Medal of Honor for bravery he showed that day and the sacrifice he made that day, so that way we could all be free. Every American war has been incredibly important in deciding the direction we would take as a nation. There were heavy costs attached to each of these. The Revolution was one of our most important wars that established a God-given right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Those rights came at a cost. The Civil War was one of our deadliest wars where many men fought and died for the preservation of the Union and the rights of all men to be created equal under God. Those rights came at a cost. World War I and II were critical to the defense of our homeland and our ability to stay free and retain our rights, as well as protect the world from authoritarianism. Those rights came at a cost. The Korean War established America's rule over the free world and allowed for the bipartisan containment of global communism, which led to the collapse of the Soviet Union, as well as granting new rights to the South Koreans who now get to live in freedom instead of being controlled by the North's dictatorial regime. Those rights came at a cost. The Vietnam War has often been chided by many, but the men in Vietnam were just as heroic and just as brave in defending American freedoms as any other war. The fact that a lot of the culture is treated Vietnam as a curse to the world is absurd, and hundreds of thousands of people who floated themselves off of Vietnam in boats and Pol Pot's killing of 1 million Cambodians showed that when America fades, evil tends to win. And this came at a cost. And the Iraq and Afghanistan wars fought terrorism after we came under assault on September 11, 2001, and ensured that we would not let others to threaten America and get away with it. That came at a cost. I'd also be remiss if I did not mention the 13 service members who died in Afghanistan last year at the hands of the Taliban in our retreat, again showing that where America fades, evil tends to win. I mentioned a cost attached to each war we have participated in. This is not a financial cost. This is the cost of lives. And these were not some meaningless lives. These were parents, children, spouses, and grandchildren of someone who cared about them very much, and they were also children of God. This is why it is so important to me that you all remember the sacrifices made for you so that way you could be here today. And these soldiers have made the choice that I personally haven't been brave enough to make. And there is nothing we can do to fully repay the sacrifices they made. Best thing we can do is stand in awe and appreciation and remember that they fought for one nation under God. The Scouts and leaders of Troop 71 Oakers honor the men and women who have fallen in defense of our great nation. Scouts, please present the wreaths.
Great job, Logan. Hey, Logan, what movie was that guy in?
It wasn't in a movie.
Oh my God.
The Medal of Honor recipient.
That was incredible. Great story. A lot of stories like that, as he said, to keep us free. Okay, more of the wreaths we have right now. Jewish War Veterans, Post 125. Mark Rubenstein. Come on up, Mark, and you guys can do your wreath and flags.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a little history. On May 5th, 1868, General John Logan established May 30th as a day of remembrance for those soldiers who died during the Civil War. Flowers are placed on the graves of the fallen soldiers of both the Union and Confederate armies. This continued every May 30th until 1971, when an act designated Memorial Day as the last Monday in May, and that's why we are all here. For many, though, it is a 3-day weekend filled with barbecues and picnics, a time to get away from the normal workings of the week. For others, it's the beginning of summer, a time to look towards the long days of summer, and time to plan summer getaways. Many Americans have forgotten the significance of Memorial Day, but not veterans, not armed forces personnel, not Boy Scouts, not Girl Scouts, all around the country, all of whom plant thousands of flags in cemeteries where veterans are buried. These flags are placed on veterans' graves, prayers recited. Americans here today, veterans and non-veterans, come to Memorial Day services to honor those who so bravely served and gave their lives to the ideals of the United States of America. This Memorial Day, as in the past, we remember all who died in uniform in conflict and those who survived and have since passed. It is fitting on Memorial Day that we all fly the American flag to show that we honor and remember all who served. The National Moment of Remembrance Resolution asks that at 3 p.m. local time on Memorial Day, all Americans observe in their own way a moment of remembrance and respect, and pause from whatever they are doing for a moment of silence. I am proud to be an American and a veteran. Thank you all for being here, and God bless the United States of America. In the past year, Post 125 had 10 people, 10 members deceased. We now plant our flags in honor of them. Norman Armed. Brosell. Ray Cohn. Leo Hayden. Floyd Kringle. Sidney Marshall. Stanley Shapiro. Colonel Alan Sherman. Saul Stern. George Topal. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Mark. I think it was last year, my friend Stanley gave me this commemorative pin, the 125th anniversary of the Jewish War Veterans. I wear this in honor of Stanley this year and every year. Okay, at this time, VFW Post 226, our friend Jim Mack. Come on up, Jim.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Mayor, Council, I'm pleased to be here. Thank all you vets for being here this morning. It's my honor to be up here in front of you. But Memorial Day is very important to me and most of you. So, as you enjoy your weekend and Monday, please remember, we honor the day. It's not a Monday. It's a day to remember. Day of summer. Freedom to enjoy what we have. It isn't free. It's been paid for by lives. Their lives, their lives. Somebody's paid this price. There's families out there. It's a remembrance to them every year. And sorry, I get emotional. Men and women who lost their lives gave their lives to us and obtained our freedom. Remember them. Remember their families. Right now, they're in need of respect and love also. Thank you. Now I will have placing of the flags. We've had 21 deceased members of Post 22-26 this year. A lot of people. Membership is declining. First one, Carl Albert. Albert. Past state commander. Deserves all the recognition he can get. Manuel Alameda. Walter Benacki. David Ayers. Albert Cairo. Frank Chatterwick. Harris Z. Dexter. David Gray. Ronald G. Hunt. Daniel J. Jacklin. Alan E. Jacoby. Walter Kuska. Howard W. Kramer. Otto Ruger. James McPherson. Eric Nelson. Michael O'Keefe. Charlie Stoneham. Charles J. Van Buren. William J. White. Paul D. Whitpipe. God bless all of them. God bless you. God bless all servicemen in action as we speak today. And do me one more favor, please. Police are under a lot of fire these days. Give them all the support you can get. They don't know who the enemy is. They're coming from all different angles. Get out there and support the police. If you like a Long Branch Hugs, I host lunch or beverages, whatever you prefer, after the ceremony. Thank you.
All right, that group was hit awfully hard. So we're going to have the Catholic war vets come in. Guys, we're going to make room in that garden for you. Don't worry about it. We'll get those flags in there, all right? Right now we have Robert McKnight. Come on up, Robert.
Good morning. All right, Mayor, Council, honored dignitaries of Ocean Township. I want to thank you for performing this service every year, inviting us here. And say about Memorial Day. It is a celebration. It's a solemn day, but it's a celebration. And we're thankful that we live in a country where we're able to celebrate this. We have our freedom to celebrate it. So many men and women, they gave their lives for us so that we may enjoy the system of government we have and the freedoms provided by it. Why is this day so special? Why is it so important? Why is it not just another day for barbecues and vacations? I want to ask everybody here a question. How many of you are willing to give up your house, your car, your bank account, your family, your friends, every person you've ever met or known, all because your country asked you? Even if you've given all that up, you still wouldn't have given up everything. You'd still be alive. You'd have your life. You could rebuild again. The people we honor here today gave up all that and more, their very lives. They gave up everything they would ever have or would have, their very existence. Not all volunteered. Many were drafted. But when their country called, they answered, knowing full well what could happen. So today, on this most solemn day, let us remember those who made the ultimate sacrifice. Be thankful and proud we live in a country where so many men and women thought so much of their country and future generations so that we may live under the blanket of freedom they provided. So to everyone here I say this: live your life the best way you know possible. But never forget those in uniform, those who gave up everything, their very existence, so that you may have your life to live and live in freedom. In closing, I would like to leave you with the timeless words of St. John the Evangelist. Greater love than this no man hath, than to lay down his life for his friends. Catholic War Veterans, our post, we lost 2 members this year. So I have Joe Williams. Hope he placed the wreath already. Okay, if we could place a flag for Jimmy Desposito. And Bill Garneri. Thank you. Salute to the fallen soldiers. Rifle salute by our Rifle Guard Police Department.
Detail, attention! Present, up! Ready, fire! Ready, fire! Ready, fire! Rifle salute.
At this time, Christopher Wilson is going to play taps. Come on up, Chris. As the Scouts raise the flag, this will conclude our ceremony. Thank you all for coming out. Navasink Brass Band's going to lead us out. Thank you guys. Have a great, safe Memorial Day weekend.
He thinks he's following me and he's not. We want to go see Brian.
Back.